All right, we're back with the final Sundays with Serby of the year. This week for his Q&A, Steve Serby sat down with St. John's men's basketball forward Zuby Ejiofor. Now it's time for the last time in 2024 to chat with Steve, who joins me now. Steve, what's going on? How was your holiday week?
Very good. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you. 2024 almost done, and 2025 on the horizon. Good vibes for St. John's. And Zuby Ejiofor, he seems to have a deep appreciation for Coach Rick Pitino's passion and energy. How did Zuby describe the influence that Coach Pitino's coaching style has had on his development as a player and also as a leader?
Well, Zuby has learned under Coach Pitino that you play for the name in front of the jersey, not in the back of the jersey. He also has adopted Coach Pitino's famous "nothing changes if nothing changes." So if you're not doing anything right, then you better change it up. But the interesting thing about Zuby and Coach Pitino, their relationship, the way to a recruit's heart is through his stomach. And Coach Pitino wisely took Zuby and his family to two of the best Manhattan restaurants, Avra and Del Frisco's. And Zuby is a big steak guy, so he fed him steak. And a couple of days later, at a breakfast meeting, Pitino said to Zuby, I'm not going, he was supposed to go to France. He goes, I'm not going to France unless I know you're committed to St. John's. So Zuby didn't have steak and eggs that morning, but he had waffles, pancakes, and everything else for breakfast. Stood up out of a sign of respect for Coach Pitino and said, I want to play for you. And so Coach Pitino knows how to recruit better than most, but he also teaches guys that if you're going to play for me, you better play with passion, you better play for love of the game, and you better communicate on defense. And if you miss shots, don't worry about it, but just don't dare think about it. You got to be mentally tough to play for Coach Pitino. And don't forget, Zuby had transferred from Kansas. He loved Kansas, but he loves playing for Coach Pitino because he knows that he has a chance to realize his NBA dream playing for Rick Pitino.
Yeah, he does, and he loves that. And look, I want to note, being the food lover and restaurant connoisseur that you are, only you would be able to get out of Zuby Ejiofor exactly what he ordered at these dinners of both, dinner and then breakfast at both of these places. Only a legend like you, Steve, will be able to get that out of him.
You know, I like to go to good restaurants, and
Yes,
I've gone to several restaurants, and Pitino knows them all. I walked in one day, and he was sitting at Parkside in Corona with a bunch of his recruits and coaching staff members. Listen, nobody knows good food like Rick Pitino.
Well, we know this is true. The last time I was at Parkside with you, Coach Pitino was there too with his recruit and said coach staff members. So he knows some good food like you, and I expect you to ask about the good food. So not shocked at that at all. Now, Zuby did mention his goal of helping St. John's return to its historical dominance in the Big East. What does his vision for the team this season say about his mindset as both a captain and also his aspirations for the program going forward?
Well, he's proud to be the captain. He played behind Joel Soriano a year ago, but now he's one of the men on the St. John's team, and he believes the Big East is wide open, and I do too. And Zach Braziller, our crack New York Post St. John's beat writer, believes it as well. Zuby knows that Pitino wants these guys to experience what winning championships is all about. And Zuby believes this team can win the Big East Conference, and he believes it can go far in the NCAA tournament. He remembers the pain all the returning St. John's players do, the pain of being ignored, being shut out of the NCAA tournament last year. And Zuby remembers looking at the faces of those teammates who would not return for this year and how much it hurt him that they hurt. So he believes, he even went as far as saying he would love for St. John's to be known globally, much less nationally. We'll start with nationally. That's good enough. But he thinks that this could be a memorable season for the St. John's Red Storm. And look, anytime you got Rick Pitino as your head coach, chances are you're going to be in the NCAA tournament. Now that Coach Pitino has established that culture and has mastered the art of keeping his recruits and mastered the art of the portal and NIL, and who wouldn't want to play for Rick Pitino if you're in college? If I was in the portal, I would have been transferring to St. John's.
Really?
Of course, the chances of Coach Pitino recruiting me are not very good.
I thought I heard that back in the day you were quite the basketball player at Ohio University. I think you would have been on Rick Pitino's radar.
I played intramurals at Ohio U.
Not quite the same thing.
On a terrible team. And I was one of the worst guys on the team.
Okay.
But I have moxie. I have intangibles. Those are important.
I would agree. I would agree. Have that before we let you go, Steve. An important thing I think for our viewers that I found out because you had shared with me. For people who watch this segment, we have talked a lot about Rick Pitino, and we saw Rick Pitino pull out the white suit last year, which you and I are both a fan of, and we have been asking for our colleague and good friend Zach Braziller to wear a white suit. Now, he didn't, but you did have a chance to talk to Zuby Ejiofor. Could you tell the people, don't show them because it's not going to work on the phone, but could you tell the people, you asked Zuby Ejiofor, I think the most important question that didn't make it into the Q&A, and this is why we're doing it for the people, you asked him about Zach Braziller, the great Zach Braziller, wearing a white suit, and if Zuby thinks he could pull it off. What did Zuby tell you?
Well, Zuby recalls when Coach Pitino wore it last year, the white suit at the Garden, right? It was at the Garden. And he said, once we saw Coach Pitino with that fly suit, he said, we knew we had to win this game against Michigan. And they did win the game. So I asked Zuby, the natural progression would be, what would you think about Zach Braziller wearing a white suit? And he kind of hesitated and hemmed and hawed at first. Why, I don't know. And then he said, well, yeah, I'd like to see that. We'd all like to see that.
Yes, we would.
And I've offered to buy Zach Braziller a white suit at Men's Warehouse, and he still won't budge for whatever reason. But anyway, I asked Zuby, do you think he could pull it off? And he goes, well, he wasn't too sure about that, and I'm not too sure either, to be honest. But he said, yeah, well, he'd like to see it. So Zuby would like Zach Braziller to wear the white suit. And now maybe we can get Coach Pitino to try to twist his arm and wear that white suit. I think it would be historic.
Oh, it would be historic. I just want to be there in person to see it, or send me all the pictures or video that you can. Zach, we believe in you. We think you can pull it off. Zuby thinks so. Steve thinks so. I think so. And I know Coach Pitino thinks so as well, too. So we will see if that can happen.
Too bad you can't really see this.
You can't. Yes, but we'll have to get that out to the people in some way. We'll get it. We're going to figure a way. We'll get that video out to the people so they can see Zuby's fantastic answer. Check out people at nypost.com. Check out Steve Serby's Q&A with Zuby Ejiofor, great forward for St. John's basketball. Steve, it's not the people are not going to be able to hear or see it clearly. It's fine. We got it. We're good. We're good.
Right.
We're good. We'll get it out to the people.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you, Steve. And we'll do more Sundays with Serby in 2025. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Happy New Year. See you, Dex.